This is a brief introduction to Elsevier adaptive quizzing for students. Now students, if you have not yet redeemed your Elsevier adaptive quizzing code, or if you have not enrolled in a faculty-led course, if this is a required purchase, please visit evolve.elsevier.com or the Elsevier Student Life page in order to get information on how to redeem your access code and get enrolled in the unique course ID that your faculty can provide. Now, if you are enrolled and already have redeemed your access code, then this is just going to be a brief introduction into the system and the ins and outs and the various benefits that you will be seeing from this program. So when you first launch into the Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing Program, this is going to be your home page from a student's perspective. As you can see at the top, there are these top navigation buttons. This is going to hold all of your account settings for Evolve. You can obviously log out whenever you see fit. Also very important, the Help tab. If you ever run into any issues with Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing, as well as any of our other resources or products at Elsevier, you can certainly contact the Help and Support Center here at Elsevier Help Center. You can email, chat, or call anytime. You can also hop out into Evolve for your other resources and products anytime that you would like from the EAQ system. So first and foremost, you see here is the home page where it's going to show you your top 3 areas of improvement. Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing is uniquely personalized to really show you where your strengths and weaknesses lie, and thus serve up questions to you based on those personalized strengths and weaknesses. So it really wants you to hone in on your areas that need improvement based on your past performance, and that's what the Adaptive Quizzing program is doing. It really is acutely aware of your ability with the questions as you're taking the questions. So it's going to become more intelligent about how you are within your particular system the more questions that you take throughout the program. So this is the Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing for the NCLEX RN, and this is a demo course. There are also EAQs for HP programs and also book-specific versions that are organized by chapters for your respective texts. Now, if you're enrolled in a faculty-led course, you can find your assignments that your faculty will be creating in 2 different places. You can find them here on your home page in this assignment section right here, as well as this assignments tab right here. The place on the home page is just going to display the top 3 most recent assignments, and then this assignments tab right here is going to display all of the outstanding assignments as well as past assignments if you've already completed those. So be very mindful of this if you are enrolled into an instructor-led course, because it will give you the due date, and obviously it's a very easy start for you right here on the home page. The other way that you can utilize the Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing program is via self-study. What's really great about this system is that students don't have to be enrolled in an instructor-led course in order to create quizzes on their own. You can take faculty-led assignments as well as self-study quizzes, or if you're not enrolled in a faculty-led course and you're using this independently, you can certainly create quizzes on your own as well. And there are 2 ways to do that. You can see here on the home page that there's a quick mastery quiz, and this is going to show you the primary organization of the chapter and those various taxonomy tags. So for the NCLEX version, that's going to be by content area, as you can see right here. So I'm just going to select the area in which I would like to see questions, and then it's going to serve me up questions based on my past performance in this particular subject matter area. So that's really the crux of the program. You can select 2 various modes in which you can see the questions, study mode and exam mode. Study mode is where you're going to see your incorrect and correct feedback immediately, and exam mode is where it's going to actually save your results in your incorrect and correct feedback as well as rationales until the end. You're always going to get a rationale as well as your incorrect and correct feedback. It's just a matter of your personal preference whenever you want to actually see that. Is after each question or as a comprehensive view on your quiz result at the end. So it's very much just personal preference. So if you will actually get 12 questions whenever you do a quick mastery level quiz. The other way that you can create a quiz is if you come over to this custom quiz tab right here. Now, what's great about the EAQ system is that it's not just tagged by content areas or chapters. There are also very respective taxonomy tags that are going to be applicable to your area of study, whether that be nursing, medical assisting, dental assisting, all of our allied health programs as well. And also those book-specific versions where you're using chapters, we're also going to be tagging to these other content areas. So if you know that you have a particular area of interest, or you know that your particular program has a certain emphasis, chances are we have a topic tag for that. So you can really utilize the system to really customize the questions how it would be best to be suited for your particular study needs. So in this particular example, I'm going to be using the cues and competencies, and I would like to see some safety questions. That's an area of interest for this particular quiz for me. Again, you have the ability to select study mode or exam mode, and then for this particular custom quiz, the difference is that you can actually select a finite number of questions that you see within a particular sitting. So I just want to see 5 questions, whereas on the home page, the quick mastery level quiz, that would give me 12 questions. And so that's just a quick way for you to just queue up 12 questions. But if you do want to select the certain number of finite questions that you'll see within a quiz setting, you can do that via this custom quiz section. So I'm just going to queue up 5 questions for this particular quiz. And I'll just select Start My Quiz. And then the quiz player is going to load with my questions based on my past performance. Now, if I'm a beginner user, obviously the system is going to present questions to me based on my beginner status. So it's going to throw me some easy questions. It might throw in some harder questions just to calibrate my ability within the system, because it really wants to learn how well I'm answering these questions throughout the system. Now, another very important best practice and something to note is that high consistent ability is the best way to achieve success within the EAQ system. And what that means is that the system truly is going to monitor how well you do within these with these particular questions. So if you're getting a string of questions incorrect, it might be best for you to go back and remediate, go back to your text, or study a little bit more in order to get the questions correct. Because if you are working towards a certain mastery level, it might hinder your ability to get to those mastery levels quickly if you're not answering with a high percentage of correct. So just be mindful to really know the content and to take these questions seriously, because it could haunt you in the long run if you're not answering questions consistently throughout the system. So if I'm going through the quiz player, it will ask me a question, and then of course it will prompt me with some responses. I will come over here to the metacognitive indicators, which are just confidence indicators. And so this is just really to assess how well you know the information. This is a checks and balances for you as a student. So if you really are just guessing on a question, be mindful of that and make sure that you do go back to the source material or really look at the rationales in order to get that piece of information. So that is just a great tool for you as a resource to really understand the content. So as you can see, I'm in study mode, so I'm getting my incorrect and correct feedback immediately, as well as my rationale. So I got that one correct, and then it gives me my applicable rationale. Then I'm going to cycle through these questions, and then let's say I nailed that one. So again, you can just select those metacognitive indicators as well. And again, I get my rationale. And then a lot of our questions also have multimodal remediation links, and those are going to link out to applicable charts, videos, illustrations to really reinforce the rationale. So for about 30% of our questions, there's going to be those hyperlinks that will link you out into your browser for another piece of information to further contextualize the information and to further reinforce what is being assessed within that particular question. Now, once you're completely finished, you continue on to results, and you're going to be taken to your quiz results page. As you can see right here, this is going to give you those confidence indicators that I mentioned. So this is just for you to take a look at to see how well you know the information and whether or not you do need to go back and maybe you were falsely confident. You can also see how much time it took you to complete a particular study session, as well as the average number per question. The correct and incorrect responses are going to be available for you. So if you were in exam mode, for example, all of your incorrect and correct feedback would be just here in the quiz results section, but you can always reference that. What's great is that the confidence indicators are attached to that particular question, so you don't have to go back and reference that. The other thing that's great about this is if you have an issue with the question, let's say you thought the question was misleading, or you found an inaccuracy and you actually want to talk want to send that feedback to our product development folks, you can certainly do that via that chat feature. And those are reviewed monthly. And as you can see here, you can view the various topics if that is interesting to you, or just hide this particular topic. So especially if you're studying for a licensure, seeing kind of where that particular question is derived from in client need categories or any other licensure certification would be very beneficial if you are studying for that licensure. You can always come back to this quiz results page, and I'm going to show you how you can do that right now via the progress page. So EAQ, as I mentioned, constantly monitors your progress within the system. And so it's really very fantastic for you to see how you're doing throughout your entire program, or if you are studying for the NCLEX or for another certification or licensure. Via this progress page, you can see how long you've been within the system, how many hours that you've been in the system, as well as total questions. So if you want to know how many questions you've actually encountered, you can come to this progress page. You can select a date range, and you can see how many actual questions you've answered within a particular period of time. So if you're trying to get to a sweet spot, a number, you can certainly do that here. EAQ also gives you some suggested study sections. And so these are going to be populated based on your performance on the questions within the system. So they're going to be get ahead and catch up. Maybe there are topics that you haven't encountered, so it wants you to actually go ahead and get in there and do it, or catch up. Those are the areas in which perhaps you need a little bit more additional work in, and so it's going to prompt you to do some quick study sessions. That way you don't have to go in and pick the topics. It's going to pick them for you. So that's just another way that you can utilize the system. This Details tab right here gives you the ability to really drill down into those topic tags that I was mentioning before. So let's say you are wanting to see how you're doing in medical surgical and the respiratory care system. As you can see here, I haven't done any questions, and thus I have not achieved any mastery within that particular topic tag. And so it's really important if you want to see how you are benchmarking against your class, if you're enrolled in an instructor-led course. Also, national averages. So we include national statistics based on other users around the United States and in Canada to see how you're actually performing against those national averages, which is really fantastic. So you can see how you're progressing along within a particular mastery level. It's important to note that high, consistent level of ability within the system, because you can go down in mastery. And that is something very important to note. So if you are consistently answering questions incorrectly, then the system will decrease your mastery level in these mastery bars. And it's very important to incrementally look at your progress throughout the system. So you can use that. Also, the number of questions to level up is here. So this just gives you averages on how much time the system believes that it will take you to level up to a different level. And then you also have the number of questions answered, which I'm sure is very important. And you can see the ratio of how many questions that you've answered. So you can see a percentage based on how many questions you've answered correctly, which is very important. The other great thing that you can see are those other topic tags. So for the NCLEX, there's the client need category blueprint, which is how the NCLEX is organized. If you're in a conceptual-based learning program, you can see how you're performing against those concepts, perhaps. And this is another great way, especially if you want to queue up quizzes on a more granular topic, such as infection, for example. You can use those concepts to create quizzes as well if you want to get a little bit more granular with the questions that you're seeing. You can also see cognitive level, integrated process, nursing process, cues and competency, and question type. And again, with the nursing titles, not only just the NCLEX, but the book-specific versions that are going to be directly correlated and tied to the textbooks that you're using, these are also going to be the topic tags. And if you're in an HP program, there are going to be various respective and applicable competency tags, concept tags, topic tags that relate to your particular field of study. As I mentioned before, you can actually see all of your quizzes, all of your assignments that you've taken if you're in a faculty-led course, as well as all of your self-study courses. So let's say that you know that there is a comprehensive exam coming up at the end of the semester, and you want to go back and review all of your quizzes that you've taken independently and all of your assignments. You can certainly do so here. So you can see the name of the quiz, and then you can click back in to see your quiz results, and then review those questions again right here, as you can see. So that's just a good way for you to keep tabs on all of your study, as well as to then remediate and review for any additional summative unit exams that you might be encountering. And here are one of those multimodal remediation links that I told you about. And that actually does link out into another browser here, but it does give you an applicable chart to really contextualize that material further. So the final thing that I'm going to be showing you today is the grades section. Now this is just going to be applicable if you're enrolled in an instructor-led course. So this is if your faculty is creating quizzes and assigning grades to those particular quizzes and points. This is going to be the way that you will track all of your assignments, how many points that you have achieved, and how you're doing overall within the EAQ system. Now, if you are just taking this course independently on your own, you're not even going to have this grade section right here. So be mindful of that. So I'm going to hop back into the home section. As I mentioned, this was just a brief overview. If you have additional questions, feel free to contact the support portal right here. Again, you can email, chat, or call support. You can also contact your Elsevier Solutions consultant or your faculty member in order to ask additional questions about the Elsevier Adaptive Quizzing Program. Thank you so much.